Hello everybody. So I'm back making videos now from my new studio. I had this study for a while, but I was busy doing different things, and uh, so now I'm back to the videos because I am bored and I will continue my slow pace. I don't feel any necessity of really talking quick and making short videos, enough drama that I have to do 1 second videos and say like everything. That'll be just a slogan. But today I have a very good idea, which is I was organizing papers here, and then I found this document, which is I wrote when I was hospitalized because of COVID-19 in 2020, which is already 2 years ago now, or 1 year and a half ago. And I wrote this letter here where I was at the COVID-19 hospitalized, thinking I was maybe going to die or not. Even I was very faithful that I was going to be all right. Well, still, you're there waiting for a couple of weeks and still thinking about, am I going to die or not? Is this the last time I talk to somebody or not? So I wrote the robbery dramas. So I wrote like, this is a book I'd like to write, which is about how many times I was robbed. So I know it seems like I'm laughing all the time, but that's me. And because the thing is that I'm laughing all the time because I'm super healthy, I'm super strong, I'm super lucky. I have this super large house here in Argentina that's worth like $500,000. I inherited. Very complicated. It's not that simple to really. People believe that inheriting stuff you just get it for free because people believe that life is simple sometimes, that your parents are going to say, oh, this is your house and you're going to have it, and it's that simple. It's not that simple in most cases. Okay, some cases yes it could be simple, but most cases it's not simple. In my case it's really not simple. But yes, I'm a lucky man. I'm really lucky in a lot of things. The number one thing is my health. I was given 28 years ago, 28 years old. Um, One of these days, I'm not sure, not that long ago, they said, oh, you look much younger. I'm 46, 46. I was born in 1976. And yes, I have no white hair, I don't know. That's my good luck. But then I have my bad luck. So that's my bad karma. Because you believe everything's a paradise. You're healthy, rich, fantastic, handsome. But then there's the bad karma. My bad karma is being robbed. And I believe that maybe part of everybody who's wealthy or rich is that you have to learn how to be robbed, not to be robbed. Let people steal from you sometimes. That does happen. We act stupid. We assume, oh, it's okay. No, sometimes we do a blind eye to survive because that's part of having money. If you're rich, you need to know how to handle robbery, thieves. That's the drama. People believe rich people is easy. I was telling that to my brother. My brother, he chose to be poor. Like my younger brother, he chose that he wants to be a poor man. He does not want to be rich. And the number one reason that it's not an easy life. It's not me. I like to be rich. I like to have power. I like to have control. I like to have money. I have no problem. But it's a lot of work to maintain what you have. It's a lot of work. It's not easy. It's not easy. I believe most of world like billionaires, like really rich people, like they do have to ask people to try their food before they eat because you can be poisoned anytime, you can be murdered anytime. And that's the number one thing I learned in this 2 years of Argentina, because now I have property in Argentina and I am in Argentina physically taking care of my inheritance here once again. Not the first time. because between my father and my mom, it was about, we had about 20, 25 different properties in Brazil and in Argentina. So I'm familiar with handling property, stuff, buying property, selling property, renting property, being a tenant of myself. And usually I'm very lucky, very smart. I do my job, my due diligence as I work and everything, but not my siblings. My siblings, they have a different mentality. They don't follow me. Actually, they are against me. And it's cultural. Like they speak very poor English. They have never lived abroad. I'm the one who have maintained not only the inheritance but also the culture. I am very similar to my grandparents, who were Irish, Argentinians, and Italians. So I follow the same line of thinking from Italy and from Ireland, first of all. Then I have this something nice from Argentina, from South America, which is my Spanish grandfather, which is a bit more sociable. I think there's some politics there on my Argentinian side. But then Ireland and Italy, it's business, it's work. My family from Ireland, my family from Italy, they came to America to make money, to be rich. That's the only reason they left Ireland, that's the only reason they left Italy. Of course, there was the wars, the problems. There was a lot of opportunity here. They were inviting Irish people, Italian people to move here. That's all my Italian, my Irish ancestry. And then I have the Spanish Argentina, which is conquistador. It's another story. But let's talk about being robbed. When I was at the hospital, I wrote this, and I was like, I wrote year by year, and I like, how many times I was going to read, because I didn't read this in a couple of years, so I'm going to read it now firsthand, straight to the camera. So let's see my impression about what I wrote on 22 October 2020. So 21, 22. So that's October 22. So that's exactly 2 years ago now. 2 years ago. Look how 2 years ago. How many times I was robbed? Augustin's fact check. 2020, 1990, 30 years. So 3 decades. Number 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 20, 27 times. And now I have to add now, because since I was hospitalized, now it's about people trying to steal from me, and me saying no, or letting people steal. Because I think there's more crime now than even before. It's just getting. I believe it's just getting worse. I haven't seen anything getting better. Like now that the pandemic has finished and we supposedly back to normal life, I believe things are more difficult now. I think it's just worse. But then, first time I was robbed, 1996. I'm talking about important robbery, okay? No, let's talk about something that I was involved when I was a kid. When I was a kid, that was before. That I'm talking about the 80s. I used to collect candies, okay? If you have children or you are a child yourself, I am the collector, okay? So I was the perfect child, and I was the boy who would save candies. So every time my relatives, my parents or friends, they will give me candies, I will have a bottle and I will put them all there in my safety deposit, and I will collect all those candies there. One day I go back home and I'm like, where is my bottle full of candies? Then I tried to find them. Then I went walking to through the stairs and everywhere in the building we were living, and I find my older brother with his friends having a soda and eating my candies. Okay, that I was maybe 10 years old. That was the first robbery in my life. The second one was 1996. I'm going to add here 80s. That number one, candy. Who won his name? 1996. $19,000 Cordoba, but arrived 17,500, 1,100 consumidos for it. Also, it's 1,500. Okay, an argument with my dad last month because he was asking for some money cash from me. He was taking advantage because I was working supporting Berlusconi on his campaign, the Italian campaign politics, because I'm Italian citizen and I vote in Italy, so I volunteering and supporting Berlusconi Meloni. And then my father came showing that he wanted some cash from me because he lent me some money in January. He wants his money back. I was not, it was totally wrong timing for him to do that. I was super busy traveling and doing lots of work in this campaign, which was very important because I was designated by the European Union Parliament. Like it's a big thing. It's officially representing a political party from Italy. Come on, and then my dad calls me like almost like desperate, saying I need to pay him back this $800 cash, like, and I basically answered saying not right now, I can't, like I'm busy doing other things, and then he started the drama, and then is when I understood that he was also, I mean, because politics is complicated, politics, it's more than simply money, it's mental. So what I understood from him is that he basically don't support me or the politicians I'm supporting. He's against, so he's the opposition. So that was what I understood from this drama is that he was against me. So he's socialists. That's why, and I'm more capitalist. That would be. I'm more right wing. He's left wing. He loves Che Guevara, Lynch, and which is it's a case of conversation. But he was very straightforward. Boom, he wanted the cash, and then I answered him back and said, "Look, how about the 1,500 from 1996? You have never refunded me those dollars, U.S. dollars. You know, South Americans, especially Argentinians, they love U.S. dollars." And that was in 1996 when I sold one apartment. I purchased my first apartment. It was a small apartment in Cordoba city in Argentina. And I asked for so it was 19,000 US dollars when I sold this apartment and I moved back to Brazil. And as my dad was traveling between Argentina and Brazil, and then he brought this US dollars to me. But once I get the payment, boom, it's not $19,000, it's $17,500. So my father took $1,500 without my permission, without asking me. So that's stealing. That's stealing. It was still not that there was no drama back then because I was shocked because he never said he was going to keep some money that he was charging me for the service of bringing this money to Brazil. And so it's just at the time of paying, he says, "Look, this is it. I have deducted 1,500 and la." But you know, this is still a gray zone, okay? I wouldn't go crazy on this, but I thought of this now that he asked me for this money back, and I said, how about this $1,500 there back in 1996? Are you following? But this is not robbery that crazy, okay? This is some sort of you should ask, you know, you have to ask, you have to explain, you have to ask permission, you have to say, "Look, is there any chance I do this favor for you, but I will keep 15, I need this money," you know. But you know, Argentinians, they play, everybody's special and fancy, so they just take money, because there's a lot of appearance in Argentina. That's why there's a lot of crime here, because people live on appearances. So he will never ask for money. He will pretend he's a special. He just deducts because the money is in his hands. But you know, it's still stealing. Number three actually, 1999. $10,000. Yes, I was robbed $10,000 in 1999. Uh, it was the thing is that in 1996 I was about 19 years old, so I had this $17,000. So I deposit this at a bank account. My problem is I deposit in a bank account that I opened when I was 16. But when I was 16, I couldn't open an account on my own. Brazilian, Argentinian laws, super complicated. So I needed somebody older to be responsible for me. As my father was not, my mom was already dead. My father and my mother-in-law, like they couldn't do it, so I had to ask my older brother, like the same one who stole money from the candies when I was a child. But anyway, I had no other choice. That's the thing of Latin America, like there's a lot of crime in Latin America, but at the end of the day, actions are taken by criminals in Latin America. That's why I live in America and Europe. Like I don't live in Latin America because it's like Latin Americans, they talk, but and then you say everybody's nice because you have good people in Latin America as well. But at the time of taking action in Latin America, it's always bad people. So it's something like you need to do something serious. You want to build a house and construct a house, and then honest people will not show up, or they will talk, oh, I'm sorry, that's such a nice idea, but they're good, they don't steal. But then the criminals, they will show up and they will steal the materials, they will pay. But do you understand? It's Latin American thing. It's something like if you're a criminal, you take action. If you are not a criminal, you do nothing. You just stay passive, waiting for people to steal from you. You know, that's why I don't live in Latin America. I'm here just because I'm trying not to be robbed. That's the current robbery case. So that's why my brother shows up. But he was interested. Oh yeah, I'm going to have access to Augustin's money. And unfortunately, 3 years later, 4 years, he did steal. He robbed it. I was working, busy, producing, having my life, but he went to this bank and then he withdraw however possible money. He's just spent everything in a few days. That was 1999. It was a scandal to get this money back. I managed to get some money back. But then you go to the permission from my dad and usually South American society in general. South American moral, they understand that it's my fault, that obviously I was going to be stolen. The person who steals is always protecting South America. It's the things, how the things are here, like very individualistic. Then you go to Judaism, it's a popular religion in South America, which is God and me. So the problem is me trusting other people, because Torah says that it's you alone, everybody's alone. So, but then you have a law at the bank that forces you to have somebody else signing on your like it's a big Judaism it's a bit of a crazy religion, But anyways, 2000 year 2000. Again, I was robbed by my older brother. Again, same guy. He said I was super stupid this time. I make this essay and I was studying, but always busy because I study, I go to work, I speak several languages, I have work, and then I go to school, and then there's a Artiste Chateaubriand. It's a championship for students, and then I go and I write this essay where I had to make a combination of three words: computer, future, and internet, I think, in the future. And then I write this beautiful essay of 5 or 6 pages where I write there saying that the computer, that was my title for this essay, computer as an agent for the macro unification and the micro alienation and the feudal capitalization of the world, which is the world we live today. It was almost a premonition that I did 20 years ago. It was $5,000, but I noticed the next day what happened, because I had to go to work, and then I asked my brother to mail this for me, to put on the mail. So I gave him this say and said, just put on the mail. but was not really. I didn't know it was so special what I wrote. And then what he does is that he sends to the mail, but he puts his name there. He writes his name and he mails it. And then I noticed the same day because I checked on my computer. I noticed that the file was moved, and but he mailed it with his name. So I tried to contact the organization, trying to fix. I sent it again with my name, but for some reason he was the one who won this um, championship. So he won second position of this competition among 5,000 students all across Brazil. And people were calling, greeting my dad, but my dad lives on appearances. So what he did was to say, "Oh, thank you," pretending was fine, instead of just telling the truth, trying to fix the problem. But South Americans are about appearance, all about the looks. So whatever they think, the concrete, the heart of things, it's a mess, it's chaotic. So as soon as we have the confirmation that he was a winner, I contact the organization of this events. It's a University of Chateaubriand Association there in Brasilia, the capital of Brazil. It's a very important. And I called them, "Look, this is what happened. My brother stole from me, and then this Brazilian guy says there is nothing he can do because there's a bureaucracy. What he would do is just to cancel the entire thing." And then I said, "Look," and he was asking, who are you? Where are you calling from?" And by that time, 20 years ago, there's not the who's calling like everywhere, so he wouldn't find out where it was from, the call. And then is when I said, "No, I'm not going to reveal that. I need the money. I need the $5,000. You are going to have an imposter there receiving this prize." And then that's what happened. So I had to listen to my older brother, like just rehearsing my essay because he was studying it with his wife. I think they were dating. They're not married yet. So he was there, like, and he went to Brazil. She as well. They did all the facade, the whole thing. It took me a couple of years more to get this money back. Actually, when I sold the property in Brazil, I managed. He tried to do a lawsuit not to pay this bill, but I won this on the courthouse, and South America, like chaotic. But what else? 2005. Oh, the 2005. This is another robbery. Okay, it's not chronological. Okay, so we go back and forth. Okay, this 2005. I wrote this when I was at the hospital. Okay, so it's interesting. The one that's probably more important. Like, it's an apartment. I was buying this apartment in São Paulo, Brazil. This apartment is worth now $1.5 million. $1 million now. My family, my South American family, they played a game because I was managing a property we had in Belo Horizonte, but everybody was living in São Paulo City. So what I did, I invested a lot of time and work and paying the bills, and same thing I'm doing this house here in Argentina. And then I move all the furniture to Belo Horizonte and everything. They help a little bit because South Americans are not really that keen of working. But it's something like if they do something, that this little something they do, you're going to listen a lot of negotiation going on. It's like, I know, but what you did, okay, it's just moving this there, And meanwhile, I keep working, like I'm the Irish Italian guy, which has the same religion and culture from our grandparents. So everything we had come from people just like me. They are the ones who have abandoned Christianity, and they became South American Jews. And then it's about me, negotiation. The problem is not about being Jewish in South America. There's a lot of Jewish people in South America. So much Jewish people. It's all negotiation. I know, sometimes to buy this connector just to plug your phone, you need to sit down and have a meeting in Argentina or Brazil to discuss this purchase, because I mean, usually in Europe or in America, Jewish people be more working with jewelry, property, something a bit expensive that requires some sort of sophistication. But in South America, this Judaism is so popular that's like for everything, you know, like you, everything. You want to hire, like in Argentina especially, I assume Israel and Palestine are like here, but it's something like you need to hire a painter to paint a wall. You need to sit down and have a meeting and discuss and make a contract and understand you pay, not pay. Or once they come, they will ask you for these are paintings I have my collection here, and sometimes they 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 may ask for a painting. Like they come to do electricity, they do. You agree on the payment. They say, "Oh, can I take this painting back with me?" And I, oh la la, that's a lot of negotiation all there. You know, like, I know you want to pay to install electricity and become a millionaire. You know, like it's okay, but the problem is timing. It's something. It's timing. It takes a lot of time and energy. Sometimes I even forget what I'm doing because I have my life, I have my work as well, and sometimes I just want to have this lighting fixed. Which this one I did it myself. A lot of things. That's what happens in Jewish communities. People start doing things on their own because it's so much negotiation. It costs so much to do things that you do it on your own. It costs you save money. So you just paint the wall yourself. You know, that's usually very Jewish, especially Jewish Ashkenazi more than Sephardi. But anyways, this apartment, I was used. So it was a bit not of a robbery, but I was used. My Jewish relatives, they fool me, they play the game. These cases are interesting, so we can understand how Christians exist as a minority in Jewish-oriented societies. I think this would be maybe the title of these topics, okay? Because me, usually, I did not know that, but I know this now that I'm older, you know, but when I was a child, I didn't, or younger, I didn't know it was this. I would be confused, but now I understand the religious conflicts, and then so I make all this effort thinking of us, because usually Christians is God and us. So I was thinking about the five we are living here. Like this is the apartment that we at that time we were able to sell. We were all paying rents. So I found this apartment, a wonderful apartment in the most expensive neighborhood of São Paulo City, Brazil. But you know, after 2 years of work and moving and processing, my siblings they did help a little bit and investing money from my own pocket and everything. Okay, at the time of really purchasing the apartment, my siblings they all had their own individualistic Jewish Ashkenazi ideas and what they all have their intentions about how they wanted to really spend the money on individual actions, and they drove me nuts. I was robbed. Like I even heard insults. They changed they did everything they can for negotiation, and they wanted this money in their pockets, individualistic talking. And it was really, really very stressful. I was very offended. They even used violence against me, insults and accusations. And usually what Jewish people do is that they create slander and defamation. So usually, but that's the religious conflict. That's how we Christians understand. Between them is a different story. But they get organized and they understand everybody wants this money, and what they do, they attack the source. So I'm the source of this money. And then at the time of processing the payment, they show up and they say, no, this is the game, and you have to let it go. It was impossible because of 4 against 1. You know, it was impossible. They just, and then they wasted all the money. They didn't buy this apartment. They still live this individualistic Jewish life, which they believe is fantastic, whatever. But it was very, 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 very very violent. I heard all these insults from my older sister, and then she wanted the cash. She talked about the cash. You know, she needed the cash. No apartment was purchased. We lost an apartment that's worth now $1 million. The funniest thing is that they would be all rich now because because they would be living the fancy life, because I was not living in São Paulo. I left São Paulo like the next year. Like I very likely was going to leave, and this apartment would be there. And then they even robbed me. My part was also robbed, but in 2019, 15 years later, just because the part that my part of this money I saved, and I rent an apartment. I had this as a safe deposit, and this apartment which I had to ask them for to manage. And at some point they looted my apartment, they robbed all my safe deposit. Okay, that was 2019. Another time I was robbed in 2012 too. Photos, like my godmother from Ireland, like she gave me hand by my hands some objects from the family. So she gave me, she's my godmother, like I'm his godson. And then she gave Wendeline O'Brien Jamie. So she gives me this album. It's an album which I really regret why the authorities in Brazil couldn't get this album back. We know where they are. I think it's a house of his older brother has never been punished on anything in Brazil, and but it's an album from the 20s. It's 100 years old. It has pictures from my family, my Irish family in Argentina. What I believe would be a good album to donate to the Immigration Museum there in Dublin, because it talks about the Irish immigration in Argentina. My great grandfather loved photographs, so she gave me also his camera, gave me a clock. The most important objects of the family she gave to me, which is a clock, this camera, and this album, and all stolen, because I travel, and when I go back, like, where is the album, where is the camera, where is this clock? Gone. It's all gone. So that was stolen 2002. So it's 20 years, and I keep asking for them to return these objects, but no way. Latin Americans, like, no way. Like, you need to call the police to go there, do an inspection. How do you call it in English? What do you call that? It's like the now it's Spanish, chanamiento. It's bust their houses and get all the objects back. They did that again in 2019. 2003, that was Doimo Furniture Brazil, this Italian-Brazilian manufacturer. I sold a record skyrocket sales. That was about $1 million on sales on commissions, high-end furniture in Gramado, the city in south of Brazil. That's 2003. And then by the time of paying my sales commission, this Jewish guy goes wacko, and he's a Liturgilene, he's Sephardi, non-practicants and Messianic. But he goes really wacko about paying my sales commission. It's the first time I get problems in my work about being robbed. My sales, that was about my sales commissions, and so he robbed it, and then I quit this job. I was in Las Vegas actually when I announced to him I was quitting. He went crazy. He was yelling at me and saying all this drama and why he was understanding that my sales commissions would be for him, because I was doing nothing, because he was super special, he was super intelligent, other people were helping me to sell, and he watched that. And in Judaism that does not exist, it's God and you alone. So the case the other people were helping me, that means that they are the ones selling, not me. And actually, because I was the manager, and it's a long story, but anyway, no payment. That's Doimo Veneto Brazil. It's Italian Brazilian company. 2010. Well, I was robbed $100,000 when I sold this house where I was raised as a child. That was my first house here, which is here in Argentina, Rosario. La Casa de la Nonnina. They were Italians, my grandparents. I lived in this house for several years. I actually came. We used to come and go, spend Christmas there, and then I was robbed. It was through slandering and defamation. That was my first real big interaction with the Jewish community. And then it was a Jewish Ashkenazi Israeli Argentinian with Israeli passports, like a straightforward Jewish Ashkenazi scenario. And I was working in Los Angeles, in High Point, North Carolina, and Miami, and also all across the American continent, Latin America, selling high-end furniture from Seattle Furniture. And I had to come to Argentina because of this drama, because there was money showing up from my work, but it's a job that took me like 14, 16 years, and then by the time selling this, like everybody was wacko and crazy with my money. They got the cash, and it was a lot of slandering. I used to go crying on the streets here around Rosario when I was digesting all the insults. It's always the same slander and defamation. They say you all sorts of that. Basically, what the Jewish community here were saying is that I was going to steal. This is the reason that I was selling this house and doing this thing, because I had this with my siblings, because my intentions were not to help anybody, was not to work for anybody. There's no, because the Judaism says it's God and you on your own. So I was doing this because I wanted to steal from everybody. And the safest thing was to give this money to this Jewish Ashkenazi lady, which was married to a cousin. And she was, but someone that has no business with this. I barely knew her. And this is the house that I was born, so like it was 2002. About talking about 30 years of history. That was a house that was built by my grandfather, and it was built by my grandfather. Just took everything. There's another house in Cordoba, the same thing. Jewish Ashkenazi things of Argentina, and then. And then the Jewish Sephardis in Brazil, and Jewish to Jewish thing, and then I'm here like, but in my perspective, I was robbed, okay, because it was slandering, defamations against me, and they grabbed all this money, and my younger brother is still hasn't received his money, which is $26,000, which is on the expediente L1421 against Sofianich and Ricardo de Sumbila, which is the lawyer. Is any chance Ricardo pays Lisandro? Because the part of the money has never been delivered to my younger brother. So they just, it's all this chaos, everybody's stealing that, lots of defamation and against me. And it's still like that. I thought things would get better, they didn't. They just got worse. But anyways, 2008 again, Hervey, my sales commissions. I was working for this Spanish, Brazilian, Italian company in Sao Paulo, Hervey Sanitary Ware. About $5 million on sales, and then in 2008, once I quit the company, again they went crazy not to pay my benefits, not to pay my sales commissions. All about my sales commissions, they don't want to pay, no pay. And then I hired an attorney, and then I managed after three or 4 months was a quick lawsuit to get paid, and also I lost some benefits from the government of Brazil back then because of this drama there, because she didn't give me the documents I needed. It's all not to pay my bill. And I was just offering a partnership, a Christian partnership. I was going to be independent, so I would be able to do more businesses besides the ones I was doing. But the Jewish community in São Paulo, they went crazy. It's about me, whatever. They are about not paying. Like, mamma mia to the Jewish community, look, you live to learn. And I say it's unliving and unlearning, because it's like, ooh la la, it's an expensive religion. It's an expensive religion. And I did not know. I know now it's Judaism, but that time I didn't. I was assuming they were just. I was there. I was fighting for my rights, but I was right. But I was not intelligent enough, or I didn't have the knowledge. Oh, it's because she's Jewish. In her beliefs, in her community, she's doing the right thing. And I know this now. I wish I knew this like 20 years ago, at least. But 2009. 2009 was when, again, sales commissions was when I was opening these 200 stores in the United States. Everything was organized. It was about 2 years of work. The company hired me. They paid my costs. Where it started, it was 200 stores. Everything was organized. We're going to start the first store in Orange County, another store in San Francisco, another store in Miami, and everything was organized. And then boom, they decided to steal my project. They went crazy. This was the Jewish Ashkenazi community of South Brazil. They went crazy about the money, about this. I didn't understand one penny about what was going on. I was just like, I think they're crazy or something. We just established the operation, making the distribution of this furniture through McAllen, Texas, and the showroom. I visited Savannah. Said Savannah would be a nice place to have the store and all that. But Jesus Christ, they went crazy and then like, and then Saber is the finance guy of this company. Makes this quick trip to Miami, and then he shows in the social in the newspaper there, the social life there, that he was going to the United States, that he had access to his visa to the United States, and then people like nobody understood nothing because I was all across the United States. We were opening 200 stores. Like that, I had a customer there who said, "Augustin, I have never seen a done deal being undone." That was the first time. Everything was fine. You had the larger the largest thing, the best deal, yeah, the best deal in the furniture market of the United States in 2008. Instead of simply establishing the Jewish community, but that was the Jewish Ashkenazis, because they in America were more Sephardis, and I had customers that they were Sephardi Jews, but in Brazil they were Jewish Ashkenazi. Maybe that's why that was the problem, because I believe the Ashkenazis and the Sephardis, they just clash, like they never really mingle, and so maybe I was very naive that I did not know. I was just doing my job and then building things, but the Ashkenazis, but the Sephardis, they were fine in America. I had no problems with the Sephardis in the United States. I think they are more integrated with Christians in the United States, because it's a combination of Protestants and Jewish people in the United States, in the UK, in Ireland. Maybe the Republic of Ireland is a bit like Argentina and Brazil, because it's Catholics and Jews. So that's it's more complicated. And in the case of Argentina and South Brazil, it's even Jewish Ashkenazi, not Jewish Sephardis. The Jewish Sephardis and the Catholics, I think they managed to coexist. But Jewish Ashkenazi and Catholics, it's a chaotic combination, which I believe maybe it's my problem in South America. And so that was then 2000 again. Look, I mean, it's a collection of Jewish people. This is Tara Cross and Ilana Stein. They're Jewish Ashkenazi from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We were friends in Miami. I would say they were my friends. Okay, we were friends because I went to their house a few times. They helped me with a location. Ilana, she was a realtor. She is maybe still a realtor in Miami, and she was helping me with things. And so that was 2013. Yes, so I hired her husband. He was helping me. He was a manager at the company, so we were working there when I started LEGroup USA in 2010. Was officially at the Miami office, and so he was working, I think, 2013. So I was paying him a salary and everything. I was making money, paying. It was about $4,000 a month. I was hiring him, paying him. So I have two positions in my company. I was the owner and I was also a worker, and he was my boss. So, and he was doing his job. He has an MBA. He has all the qualifications, but for some reason, again, they went wacko. And one day I have an invitation to a golf club. It's this dinner, and then I go to this dinner. Very nice. I said, a hour coming. Also, no, he's not coming. Okay, I go on my own. So I go to this dinner, and I'm there. It's a presentation. It's a banking thing, finance and stuff, and very nice dinner from this capital funds company. Yeah, they manage like trillions or billions of dollars. When I go back, boom, my office is all looted, all stolen. He took catalogs, he took all sorts of objects, and he left. And like, what is this? So I filed against him. I filed a police report later because they keep the drama, but they rob it. They rob it. The Catholics, I remember one of the things that Tower Cross robbed, it's in on his police report and everything, is that was a catalog of dental medical equipment. It was a trade show that I went there, had this big Catholic, he stole that. That was 2013 in Miami. That is in the United States. That's me, myself, and I in the United States. So not this is not South America anymore. Now it's the United States. But well, Tower and Ilana they come from Portugal, and Ilana is from Rio de Janeiro. She's Jewish Brazilian Ashkenazi. But anyway, uh, 11. Wow, that was 2014. Alexander Caceres. He robbed not me, but he robbed $74,000 from a customer in Dubai. He made a scheme of money laundering there, which just it drove me nuts. I have this Arab. I'm not sure he was Jewish, Sephardi or Ashkenaz. It's people we met in Dubai, but he robbed $74,000 cash from this man in Dubai. And this again, I got good orientation from the American police, where they say that I was not going to be responsible for this theft. Because my problem is like, am I responsible for this because this happened in my company? And the police said no. They said it's not because one person is stealing one company that we go there and shut down the entire company. So this was independent, but I have all the files. It cost me a lot of time, a lot of work to have. And then this, I'm still friends with this Arab. He lives in Pakistan now, I think, Afghanistan. And he wanted to do business, but anyway, Alex Caceres took the decision to steal. And Alex Caceres was an employee. I hired him, I paid him, I sent him to Libya once to visit customers, and I took him to Dubai twice for the trade show there. But he took the decision. The best thing was to steal. He did, but not me. He stole the customer, but it caused me obviously a lot of problems. Well, 2014 also, the Rodriguez family, yeah, Texas, Chicago, was some people that Alex brought to my company as customers, of his customers. They were Mexican Americans. They robbed $47,000. It was detergents, and we went to Dubai trying to do business together, but then I'm not sure if they're Jewish or Christians. I think they are Christians, but they're just criminals. Like they're not. Other people would say it's religion based. I think Rodriguez is just a scammer, just an imposter. Like Alex Caceres was drugs, cocaine. On my point of view, cocaine addicts. Tower and Ilana, Jewish Ashkenazi from Brazil. Alex Caceres, cocaine. Rodriguez just a scammer, and he was a scammer. And then, because I noticed once I was investigating, he was married several times, like whatever. Like Pennsylvania, Libya, Jesus Christ, yeah, that was another customer. By the time of processing the payments, he gives a bad check. So I had this $30,000 check that just bounced. I remember I was in my office in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Port Everglades port, and I was almost like, this can't be true. This can't be true. This man's giving a bad check. Because I'm talking about months of negotiations. And then with the assistance of the Pennsylvania police, because I remember I even went to Pennsylvania to meet this customer, and Alex was still working with me, and then he went to this hearing there. We paid. He went there to make this man pay, and he did pay because the police of Pennsylvania assisted to make this man pay this money. 2016, Robert once again. That was John Marcos Zencaro, Maria Virginia Souza Lima. They falsified my brand, American Alphala. That was 2016. They robbed about $2 million, $3 million of worth of businesses. They just falsified my brands. This is all fully reported because it's a big crime, and we're still waiting for the American and the Brazilian authorities to come out with a solution plan for this case. There's lots of videos in my channel about this João Marcos Zencaro case, because that was really serious. Falsifications, fraud, that was really professional. I understand Carolina Spellmeyer's Jewish Ashkenazi, but Vicaros is not. He's Christian Italian. Virginia, she's Jewish Sephardi. So it's just a game. They just rob it because it's easy, and probably they already had something orchestrated that they knew that the Brazilian and the American police were not going to work on this case. But again, I think everybody lost millions of dollars, and then you go to the authorities, like for what reason the police allow these things to happen if they do understand it's going to bring more poverty and more misery to everybody. So everybody wants this quick cash, they win everything. This business is still on hold, 5 years, 6 years, and I was almost trying to rebuild this brand like last week. I have a customer who wants a large order, but Jesus Christ, by the time of paying his Muslim, and then he went wacko there with the letter of credit, and like you need to pay by letter of credit. Well, anyway, Rosario Clavery for 100,000, 2017. Well, 2017 is this property. I managed to protect some, but they still keep trying to steal. It's a lot of corruption and bribery going on. You have the black market of property and documents in South America. So usually, what Argentinians do is that they kill. If you own property in Argentina, they may murder you. So once you're dead, then what they do, they do fake documents and they sell properties. I'm talking about entire houses, maybe worth $500,000. So this is a common practice. I was victim of that in Argentina a few times. I had houses that they were looted, about 4 different properties that were looted, because the things that the nature of my business is transportation. That's what I do. That's what my grandparents do. That's what my parents do. Like, it's all the transportation. So we have to travel for work. And actually, trabalhar, it's a Latin word that means work. Traveling comes from trabalho, which means work. And I'm Irish Italian, like we travel. It's all the sea, the coast. If you're not a fisherman, you are a bus driver, or you need to travel. But in South America, you travel, you go back, your house is looted. They steal everything. They even the expensive houses, and they steal the house itself. If you stay out for too long, you may come out, and even you cannot even occupy your own house in South America, especially in Argentina, because South America will occupy, they will squatter your house, and they will bribe some people, even have documents of your house. Then it goes about my current 3 properties in Rosario. There are 2 properties which I'm expecting the attorneys to pay for them, because now they want to buy this house where I live. Because I'm the honest guy, I'm the American guy, I'm the European guy, I'm the nice guy. So this is the one they want to pay cheap to get. But then I answer back and I say, no, you buy the 3 houses, it's 3. It's a block of 3 properties. You buy all of them. Oh no, because the other ones are occupied by strangers and this and that. No, they're rented, and then you have a contract there, whatever. You're not working, that's the attorney in charge there. You're not working, like why only this house and not the other 2 houses? Like you sell the whole thing. And then they keep playing the game, like it's this is the Clavery case, which goes together with the other case there of my Jewish sister my Jewish cousin-in-law. She's married to a cousin who was involved on the same process. 2018. That was my company was looted in 2018. Again, it's a salesman I hired. Every time I try to grow, every time I develop something, all I face is gangsters, imposters, people trying to steal, take advantage, and it's all over and repeat. Then you go back to the times in history we're living. So this was when my company was looted. The thing is that John Rafter is an Irish man who worked for my company for a while, and the things that he was associated with the drug people from the Irish drug cartel, which I did not know, and I noticed he was trying to really work seriously. But as soon as we start to get some business, it's a mix of Judaism, Irish Jewish people, and cocaine again, just like Alexander Caceres. So there's a lot of cocaine in Ireland. So I think the drug cartels, I don't know exactly what the police of Ireland and the drug cartels did with all this money, but they looted my company. So what they did is they did redirection fraud. There's lots of videos in my channel explaining this case. So they did with the supplier in Thailand, the supplier in Brazil, the supplier in Texas. What they did is that they rerouted my income and they sent it to random accounts overseas. They do money laundering and all that, but with total support from the Irish police. That's the craziest part, which I was never expecting Ireland to be so corrupt. And what I understand is that by Irish morals, also in Argentina, like they what the police do is try to keep you, maintain you alive. So that's why I'm still alive. That's why I was not murdered. Like the criminality, they understand that I should be maintained alive. So they want me alive. So they keep following me and watching me, and they keep stealing from me. So, but I try not to work, and I don't work, and then I'm like, oh, what, this is a hell of a life. That they something that I'm a hostage, not only in Ireland, but especially in Argentina and Brazil, where they keep me alive, so they continue to steal from me. So, and then that's why I said, one of the last hours, they tried to murder me like 3 times here in Argentina because of my property. And then I said, there's even some police reports. I tell them if they just kill me or something, I ask them to just shoot me in the head, and they just shoot me in the head, so I die quick. That's what I ask Argentinians, Brazilians, and Irish people. Like, if you want me dead, just shoot me in the nuca here, give me a shot, like boom, and I die. But don't fool me, because I prefer to die than all this slandering and defamation against me, because that's all they did. John Rafter did the same thing. He called all my suppliers and customers doing all sorts of slandering and defamation. All these people were partying and playing with my money. It's a long loss. So then again, the police of Texas, the police of Thailand, the police of Brazil, the police of Argentina, the police of Ireland, they took the decision that this should be like this. They're not prosecuting anybody. They're not arresting anybody. I haven't seen my funds back. I keep sending letters and invoices and things to the people involved. Even the FBI, the CIA, they have all my paperwork. I send piles of documents. They're like, when you guys gonna come out with a solution plan? Like nothing, like zero. The only thing is that they maintain me alive so I don't die, and then they can be. Even there was a guy working on politics in Italy who said, "Oh, Augustin, you should just let everything go and continue to work." And so they keep insisting on me to find new businesses so that I can steal more. And this is so pathetic. It's so pathetic, but it's the market we live in. 2018 was Sint Marteen, which is this last. I think I mentioned this on this last video in English. I even sent a letter to the Queen of the Netherlands. Maxima, she's Argentinian Dutch. I'm in Argentina. I'm also Argentinian, Irish, Italian, American, Brazilian. So I'm in Argentina. I was born in Argentina. So I sent Maxima, Queen Maxima, please, lady. I don't know what her Queen Maxima. Is there any chance you work with authorities there in Amsterdam, in Philipsburg, in Sint Marteen, which is a Dutch-French island, so that they process this payment? It's $26,000. It's 25 metric tons of rice. I was robbed. I tried as hard as possible. I was even wearing this shirt there also. I took this. I wear this shirt for 6 years now. It's a very nice shirt. I still wear this. It says 2016 here. 2016. It says 2016 Ireland. And is there any chance you make these people pay? It was also a crime, and I'm waiting. I sent a copy to the embassy of the Netherlands here in Argentina. There's a police report. The police is fully notified. As most of all my cases, they're all fully notified. There's police reports and everything. And okay, when these cases they get closed, like when O'Brien. Oh, again, we have 2020 was again another one here. Is that I started to develop my rice business in Argentina, and somebody introduced me to Luis O'Brien, so which is O'Brien from Argentina. So I go and I meet this man. We make friends, invite him for dinner there, his family, and like, okay, I start working. So we're there, working his office, and then for a couple of months, and I am working in Jesus Christ with the Jewish community, his Jewish Ashkenazi. Okay, at that time I did not know. I learned a lot about Ashkenazi Judaism here in Argentina because in Europe or in America, I may have interacted with Jewish Ashkenazi people, but never in my family. Like, I definitely had more contact with the Jewish Ashkenazi community here in Rosario. And then is when he was first, and I had also the Jewish Ashkenazi aunts. So I had this strong face to face. And then is when he didn't pay for anything. I asked him, well, look, we're doing a partnership, like I'm doing all the work, I'm bringing everything. This man was doing nothing. And then I said, look, we need $5,000 so I can do this because I have to pay this. I had the website running, the thing. Oh no, we don't pay. I think it's time. Oh, I pay nothing because everybody steals in Argentina, and if I pay you, you're going. So he assumed that I was doing all this effort. Everything was to steal $5,000 from him. And then, okay, at some point I quit. I leave, and I said, look, have a nice day. I left this partnership. What he does, he puts rice and he starts selling rice himself. So it's always the same thing. And so, but it's a soft stealing, and because I didn't allow him to go more crazy. 2019 again, more falsifying of my brands, sabotage. They stole clients. Yeah, that was Barbara from CMA CGM, Paulo Pinto, and George Suarez. That was 2019, where they were Jewish and Christian Brazilians and Portuguese people they stole. Yeah, that was another case. Oh yeah, 2012, Global Allen Investments. Allen, he tried to steal $30,000 to some schemes in Monaco that he was doing. I met him in Miami. He was a classmate of me. His sister was a classmate. They're very wealthy people from Brazil. So he was trying to steal from me, and actually he did. There was more slandering, more defamation against me. It was Global Allen Investment case. 2 months of negotiation. Jesus Christ, to make the community pay. Jesus Christ, 2020. She no pagou. Yeah, oh yeah, the 2020. Yeah, again, there was the fishery Moron from Rio de Janeiro. I tried to work with them again, and you go in circles, and you go in circles. Then he was stealing. He stole. He didn't do the brand I was asking him to do. He did a different brand. He didn't pay my commission. There was this lady. She was working for LEGroup. Like, it's all cases the Rio de Janeiro. Yeah. Oh, there's the older stuff. 1993. My backpack. I was dropping at a library in Brazil when I was a student at the high school in Brazil. My backpack was dropped, so I was going to study. I left the backpack on the place where every student leave the backpack at the entrance of the library. When I go back, my booth is empty. It was all stolen. Yeah, that was a backpack, a nice backpack I had. 1990, yes, that was in the shanty town of Brazil. Yes, oh, that's true. Yeah. That 1990, like I was maybe 12 years old. I was walking home, and I passed through a shanty town in Brazil, and then I hear this steps. Somebody was coming from behind. He gives me what do you call that when they lock your neck? He did this for my back, so I was like, what? And then he asked for my shoes. He wants my tennis shoes. Can I get your tennis shoes? And then I spoke to him and said, look, you can't, because they are dirty or something, because there was all mud, it was raining, and I was scared about walking barefoot on the mold, and then he had, okay, what do you have in your wallet? And then I had this case, with my pants and stuff. He got some cash, and then he left. So that was I was dropped into 1990 when I was. 2018. Again, yeah, but there was also the same. I was partying in Sint Marteen when I was there working against the trying to sell the rice I had there, and then these two guys, I was going heading back to the hotel, so they come and they steal my wallets, and I like and I was drunk because I was partying, and then when I see they're leaving, I say, guys, I told them, guys, stop, this wallet is empty, there's no money there, and I was telling them, there's no money there, like they stole my wallet, like there's no money there, and then. And then I'm like, oh my God, there's no money there. There's only credit cards and debit cards. Like there's no zero money. There was not even $1 there. And like, so then I go back to the bar I was hanging, and like, which was just a few meters from this place. Actually, what happens is that I went vomiting. I go to vomit. There's this little bridge and a little lake, and I go there to vomit. So when I was vomiting, is when these guys, they came and from my back, and they see my wallet, so something they steal, so I was going heading, so I was so my intention was to go to the hotel, and I go back to the bar, and I said, look, where is this guy, will you see, did you guys see what happened, they just stole my wallet, and then they come back, and they say from the far, they were like, oh yeah, there's no money here, they're like, well, I told you there's no money there. So like, yeah, guys, there's no money. They do want some money. Like I yell to them, like, and I say, I pay you. Come here, and then we go to the bank, and I give you some money. I need to go to the bank. How much do you want? And then he asked for 100 euro or something. I think it was 100 euros. So I said, okay. Then I go with the thief on a scooter to the ATM machine in Marigot, in the French side of Sint Marteen, and then we withdraw this $100. I pay him. He takes me back to the bar, and like, okay, have a great day, have a great evening there. Thank you for returning my wallet. So I had to pay for that. So that was another case. 2008. Well, I mentioned social media, which is stealing. Okay, when Priscilla Shan, Eduardo Saverin, and Mark Zuckerberg, they created all this social media, was stealing. I don't think our cuts was simply for free, but then social media was stealing. So from 2008 now, not only me, everybody, we all rob it because they steal our data, they steal our private information, everything. 2018, my apartment in São Paulo was looted, and my deposit. I mentioned a bit of this on another case earlier, but this is that when Lisandro, my younger brother, he created a scheme to steal my safety deposit. He was managing my apartment in São Paulo. So what they did, they stole the safety deposit, and they looted my apartment. So now even when my siblings in Brazil send me pictures of themselves in their house, there's sometimes I recognize some objects. Oh, that's my painting there. That's my other object. They stole everything, personal objects, everything. They rob it, and they talk to me naturally, saying, "Oh, it's here. We have it." Like, family is a bit more complicated. The Irish Times 2017. That was that was stealing too, because the Irish Times, when I was supporting Donald Trump in January 2017 in Ireland, I made this event. Was just a gathering, something simple, but some people showed up, and so we were there talking politics and observing the inauguration day of the first election of Donald Trump. So the Irish Times came to big interviews, interviewed me for a long time, took photographs of me and everything. But at the time of making the article, publicizing what my interview, which was a long interview because I was also interviewed by the radio there, and I was invited to go to a talk show, which they didn't confirm, on a very strange Jewish Ashkenazi thing. They simply stopped answering. I was like, can I go? Not go? And then they stopped talking. It was Pets show, the late night show in Ireland. And then, okay, but the Irish Times, and they publicize an article. Basically, they just mention me. They write random stuff. They didn't give any attention. I am against what they wrote about me was more against me. Was not what I said. They twisted the story. Like. And then, also here's again. I wrote everything again. Furniture. Okay, so there's more here. Sint Marteen. And then is that oh yeah, when I was when I was infected with COVID-19, I am in my bedroom at my Jewish Ashkenazi aunt, and on the Irish side, she's Irish, Jewish, Ashkenazi, Argentinian, and I did not know much everything about this, but now I know. So I was laying on my bed, feeling sick, almost dying without, and then I was wondering why nobody was taking care of me, because it comes that they thought it would be better me to die, because once I die, they will have access to my objects. So they were watching they wanted my watch, they wanted my pen, my computer, things. So I was in my room. I was very mistreated by my aunts. She was very mean to me. She actually, it is on the police report where I mentioned how she abandoned me, and how she worked for me to definitely die of COVID-19, and not only her but other people involved too. And but one day I was laying in bed and I see that she comes into my room. The lights were off, and she opens the door and she goes into my room, and she checks my objects. She didn't even watch me. Like I had one while I was watching that. Like again, she just checks all the objects there. She takes everything and then she leaves. And then she was just concerned. Like she was checking. And she rubbed some fruits ahead. That's the thing about Judaism. It's a very lonely religion. It's just God and me. Like they're very individualistic and alone. So they and I was never I was never used to that. I have been a very altruistic person all my life, and usually I'm always integrated with other people. And then that was my first. I think that was my first strong relationship with a Jewish Ashkenazi person. And this is my aunt, and I stayed during the COVID-19 crisis. I was for maybe 6 months in her house, so it was only both of us there, locked in this apartment. And then is when I really had this. I had other experiences with their Jewish Ashkenazi behaviors and thoughts and what they believe, and it is a complicated religion. And then yeah, so then 2021, then is why it's the current cases, which is this property in Argentina. They don't leave me alone. I cannot work, and I have my businesses, I have my things to do, but it's all about sealing me. The police do almost nothing. My conclusion is that the police, the whole idea is to maintain me as a hostage and working. So every time I have some results, they steal. That's the idea, and it's some sort of slavery. And but I continue. But now, as this that happened last week, it's my siblings in Brazil. They created some sort of scheme of trying to force me to sell my house where I live, because they are involved, because they took the decision to get involved. They were not obliged to get involved. They got involved in my inheritance here, and they are working with the attorney that I referred to them in the past, and whatever. But anyways, they are trying to steal, and it's the lifestyle here. It's all the time. It's every people stealing each other. That's the thing about Judaism. That's why everybody expects Jesus Christ to show up once again. I believe Jesus Christ is everywhere. I believe it's not coming back. I don't know. Like, think maybe it's just a story. It's just what you believe. You don't need really. Oh no, I will continue to loot, scam, defame, kill people or something because Jesus Christ is going to come one day. Like all these excuses to commit crimes. It's I don't know. Like I. I think I'm just ready to die. Like I'm done with planet Earth. That's a fact. If in this case is now that I'm serious about that. If they just shoot me and kill me, I think they will do a favor to me. I just want my objects a bit respected. So I try to donate as much as I can. I try to share as much as I can. So I just go free, to the next level, whatever. But I just don't want the slander and the defamation. The new ones that I'm crazy. The new ones, they're organized crimes, now in Argentina. It was very sophisticated. People do not understand. It's not easy to be rich. So we're talking about $1 million worth of property. So for $1 million in a country like Argentina, this is the same as maybe $20 million in the United States. So it's a lot of money, especially in a country as Argentina, which they are not they produce very little. There's very little wealth here too. So one of the targets Argentinians do is to target foreigners to get what they have. So I'm a VIP person in the crime of Argentina. So this was attempts of fraud against me, and they organized with my siblings in Brazil, which are more vulnerable because they don't speak English, they don't speak Italian, they're very local, and the local culture, it all makes sense. So they try, they're trying to sell my properties in the black market. So what they're doing, they're offering bribes to my sibling, assuming that they are going to persuade me to sell. But it's all the black market, it's all illegal. And I said, look, why am I going to accept $160,000 if my properties are worth $1 million? And why only one house if it's a block of three? What's this new game? So do you believe I'm going to accept $20,000 in cash, and then I leave, I go back to Europe, and then the other two houses, they will continue in the inheritance. They're going to steal. Probably the other two houses are already stolen. The Argentinian attorneys, they probably have their own people living there. So that's what they do. It's all about crime. But anyways, that's 2022. It's not only Joe Biden, it's the whole world. I'm not saying the whole world, but the United States, Argentina, Brazil, it's a lot of crime. It's a lot of crime here. And so it's about crime and crime and crime. So that at some point, yes, they're right on calling me crazy because I'm still here. I should have abandoned the ship a long time ago. But on the other hand, it's like I abandoned this and I do what? Because it's super expensive in Europe. There's nobody in Europe saying, Augustin, please come back. You have room and board for you. There's absolutely nobody saying this to me, not only in the USA, in Europe, nowhere. So it is what it is. It's what I have. So I stay strong. I keep working on what I can. But these are the times I've been robbed. It's a lot of times I've been robbed. Like 28 times, 30 times. It's like all my adult life is there's a big robbery. Like every year there's one big robbery, and most of the cases are unsolved. That's the saddest part. But the big ones I continue fighting. I send document, which you can see in my channel. Like I send all documentation to everybody again. And anyways, okay, have a great day there. And this is my new studio. Okay, and I see what I'll be talking next. Okay, have a great day there. If you manage to watch this 1 hour and 18 minutes show, which maybe nobody's going to watch, it's too long. Most people complain they want short videos, but that's not me. The whole thing is there. Maybe one day somebody's going to watch this. And if I'm dead, if you go to my YouTube channel and you see that I'm not posting for a few years, so probably it's because I was murdered. Yeah, that's important to say this. There's a gossip now saying that I'm trying to commit suicide. And because that was my older brother, the one who told several times, said, Augustin, are you thinking about committing suicide? So they're crazy expecting me to commit suicide. And then you have the community in Argentina saying that I'm crazy, and then I'm the guy who's crazy and willing to commit suicide. So probably what they are orchestrating is a sort of murder, which is very common in Argentina, where they murder you and somehow that people understand it's you committing suicide. But that's not. I have no intentions. I never did. I never did. I may say things like this, like just shoot me, like I basically like Jesus Christ said, like he gives one hand, he gives the other face, just keep slapping whatever, like I'm just being realistic. The case scenario we live nowadays, a world of wars, corruption, drugs, fraud, prostitution. Like I'm a sales guy. I'm exposed to the market. I go to sell. I have objects to sell. I need to go talk to the customer. The salespeople, like the companies I represent, do not want to pay me, not even for my costs. Because this is the new way of slavery now. It's like you work your sales, you work on your own, and in case you have success, they will pay. But what happens is that they don't pay. As soon as you bring results, what they do, they don't need to pay because they already have their order. Why they're going to pay you? And then that's one of the things. But then the biggest problem is also the market, because then I go talk to the market, and then the market is rough. So it's a lot. It's listening to insults, offenses, like people treating you as a scammer, as an imposter, and then you're like, no, I'm just selling this, and then okay, but then I need to give evidence. And it's the market we have today. I don't know who took the decision. Sometimes I believe the collapse of the Western civilization that we are experiencing in these years 2000s maybe it started, I believe, with Ronald Reagan, because I was wondering everything I know about politics, and because I believe Ronald Reagan, maybe he was very naive. I'd like to study this case in detail, because maybe he's the one who started to really dismantle all the Western civilization, because the United States is the biggest and most important country of the Western civilization, but it was maybe Ronald Reagan, the person who really, because back then, presidents of the USA, they still had power. Now it's more representation. I don't believe Joe Biden has a lot of power. Like he's there, he entertains everybody, but he's a lobbyist. Probably he does not even know much of the things he do. The information does not arrive to him. He does not even know the reality of things. But I believe back then, by Ronald Reagan time, it wasn't like that. Like a president of the United States was the president of the United States back then. Like the time of George Washington, Getulio Vargas in Brazil, Perón in Argentina. They were definitely big leaders. Not like Lula in Brazil, who's just an actor entertaining people, or Joe Biden, like uh, but I think Ronald Reagan did have power. But I believe it's when Ronald Reagan started to like do crazy stuff, because Ronald Reagan was an actor. He was a nice man. I think he used beautiful speeches. Like Nancy, she's a lovely lady. I even have my selfie with them at the Washington Museum of Wax Museum, and but I believe he probably is the one who started signing crazy contracts. On my perspective, but I'm open to see more comments about this, because I'm open trying to guess what went wrong, why the West was such a big civilization. Now it's just this chaos we all live, because I know the problems I have, they're super popular. Lots of people with depression, lots of people have already been murdered, lots of people have been killed. During the pandemic, a lot of people was murdered, and there's a lot of people who are lost, disappeared, and then so Argentina, for example, it's looking like I traveled the whole world for a long time. Argentina today is reminding me of a mix of India and China, even the events, how they do, mass produced, all this mess of people, everybody. It's reminding me of China, of India. So it is a death of the West, and but anyway, let's talk about robbery. Being robbed an entire life. I'm 46, so my all my adult life is in this time of history we're living, and that's the case scenario. And then it's the market. People say, oh, because then people tend to blame me, like it's my fault to be robbed. And nothing good I do is my fault, you know. But once I'm robbed, it's my fault. So it's the market, because I try to talk to as much people as I can. I try to sell, try to do business, and then so I fish. And I don't think it's only a Latin American thing, because Europe was also frustrating. Uh, uh, America was very frustrating. America was very frustrating. America is very dangerous. Not only Miami, the United States is a dangerous place to do business. But Europe, I was expecting more from Europe. Europe, there's more facade. Europe is more complicated, but also Europe is very dangerous. But anyways, look, have a great time there. Augustine here. Cheers. Have a great day there. This is my diary, my robbery diary. Okay, cheers.